back, everyone. We are here with the second matchup of today. We have Behelit versus Reliance. Behelit is a name you've probably never heard of before, but it's actually the new name and new logo of a previously known as Wegabuff. I think we're all pretty good friends with them here on the staff team, so we've all definitely seen them play before, and hopefully they're going to be going into these matches and in this new tournament with some high new spirits. We are seeing we have here Vinny on the killer side running a pretty standard Wesker build, I believe. Noed, sometimes you see it, sometimes you don't. Some people are still trying to get those 4Ks on the Wesker, especially since Cold Tower offers these 3 gens and 4 gens around the main building, which can definitely be scary, especially in the 3v1. And we are getting a very nice start of the first chaser onto Walk, dropping the jungle gym, but still getting hits. That is very, very good for a killer player right here.
Yes, man, indeed it is. Sorry, I was waiting for you to say my name, you know, give me some kind of clue, but I just had to swoop in. Oh, and a hit through the pallet. What goes down? Guys, I'm 2-tap. That is unfortunate here. That is a very quick and early down, very efficient from Vinny. Vinny being from Team Reliance. I don't know if this was tapped on upon. I'm just going to say it again, just to get it ingrained in your head. We do have Behelit, the Wegabuff rebrand up on the Survivor, and Reliance is Vinny on the Wesker Killer. We saw a pretty early down into a pretty early pain res. A very nice commanding hook for our killer player here. Sinter, what are you expecting to see results-wise, and what do you think the Survivors are going to be doing right about now?
Well, you usually expect one generator to be getting stacked at the start of the match against killers like Wesker, these killers that can get relatively quick chases. You usually just want to break these 4 and 5 gens as soon as you possibly can, and I believe that generator on 9 was the one being stacked, but we didn't see anyone there to contest it after kicking it, so Vinny is just going around to quickly check if any other generators have been progressed, or if maybe someone's going for a quick unhook. I feel like it's better to just check up on that area on 8 just a little bit more, because now they're going to be popping it for free, and we've not really exerted that much pressure anywhere else on the map. I'm hoping there's at least someone on Shack or on 7 or 6, and okay, well, I think there was someone else on that generator right there, because we're already popping 2 gens, but we do have a pretty disgusting setup around the main, so it's always funny to see Wesker sets, or just sets in general, where the killer brings Noed, and we never make it to endgame, so I'm kind of scared. Like, Waka's already going into second stage, and we haven't really started much progress on this top side. I'm kind of scared that that might happen. Like, we will never even see Noed.
I mean, it definitely is a possibility, you know. It's the killer variation of the... Oh, FTP coming in there. Sorry, as I was saying before, a quick little killer side version of the Delhi curse, you know. When you bring Noed and you get to endgame, or you invariably don't bring Noed and you get to endgame, or if you bring Noed and you never quite make it. We do, however, see Wok going for the cross here towards the bot side, and I think this is going to be attack. Oh, very unluckily, gets the stun. Going to make more distance and probably play around main for the time being before trying to take chase towards the bot side. Realistically, that FTP played very well by the Survivors, but I don't feel like Wok did the most amazing job of stealthing there. Obviously, being on that Sable cosmetic as well, being bright as a shining star, it's kind of hard to... How the fuck did he get there? I don't know, to be honest with you, Sinter. But realistically, this is where you're going to be wanting to take chase. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of pressure on... Is that 6? Is that 7? Either way. Yeah, the bottom side gens being done, and I think that chase is going to be wanted to have been kept on bot side. So realistically, I think that we're going to be seeing hit tanks to try and make that happen. Tell me your thoughts, Sinter.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is definitely where you want to be with the chase, but this is also not really the position you want to be in, because right now, Vinny playing it really well. Oh my god, wait, another generator popping. We're already down to 1 generator. I was going to say this is actually in a bit of a scary situation here, because Wok is, of course, infected, which means it doesn't matter that he has 2 health states left. He's just going to get instantly grabbed. It doesn't matter, they're doing such a great job. They're going to make it all the way back to Shack, which... Okay, so the Survivors, we have 2 injuries right now, but I really don't think they care, because they're going to be able to probably just stack out this last generator, considering we're all the way 6. Actually, Lip being healed by Clean Break, I believe. That was definitely not a reset. And I really wouldn't be surprised if we see any generators popping right now and already going into endgame. We do see a survivor here, maybe ready to hit tank. They have not seen 4 perks yet, so they might be expecting the Noed as well soon. The generator popping just yet, actually, so maybe I was wrong.
Definitely, we do see Nathan taking chase, but obviously the Wesker wanting to keep his gens for as long as possible, especially with that Noad proc. Oh! That is extreme efficiency now that I think about it. Ace getting the nice fast vault there and just playing his Lithe, I believe, very well, going back to the pallet. And I think right about now we are going to be feeling on the survivor side that the killer is looking a bit too quick for a regular end. Oh my god! Absolutely disastrous hit onto fast track there, and he goes down. We do see the Noah totem being quite close to the gate, so I wonder if that's going to cause any problems for the survivor side, or whether they're just going to pack up their stuff and leave. But it is looking quite that way. We do see Nathan playing Renato in the gate, wasting a bit more time for his team, and I wonder if Lip is going to be rotating for the pickup on fast track over by 9.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple different scenarios that could be playing right now. Maybe Lip is just a little bit too scared of the Noah, that he was in a position where he couldn't escape, or maybe he is actually trying to get the pickup onto fast track, but I think either way, this should result in a 6-stage 2 fresh result. I mean, yeah, we're just going for the pickup here. This hook is quite far from any open gates, I believe. It might be a little bit dangerous to... Okay, never mind. They are just going to be escaping, and that is a 6-stage 2 fresh result, which is... I think it's definitely slightly favoring the survivor sides, I can't lie.
Definitely, I feel like a 6 stage is not something you want to be putting up. It's a very average result versus a Wesker, I'd say. Maybe even above average from the survivor side, even. It's a very, very commanding place. You want to be keeping them stages as low as possible, and a 6 stage is definitely nothing to scoff at, especially with the 2 freshes as well. So realistically, if our killer is to chase different survivors, get that pressure around all over the board, we could definitely be seeing it go in the favor of Behelit here. Back to you, Sinter. Yo, what is up, everyone? Dead by Dawn Season 3, the second match of the season. We have Behelit versus Reliance, bro. Almost said Resilience there, getting my perks mixed up with the names of the teams. Obviously, great trait to have. As a caster, we have Behelit on the killer here with Fast Track. You know, what the fuck am I saying? Oh, it's too warm for this, man. Too fucking warm. Fast Track, obviously well-known member of Behelit. We've seen him before in other seasons playing the Wesker for them. Seeing if we can get an early tag. Oh, accidentally throws in between the trees, man. Mr. Beast's gonna need to plant some more. However, he is gonna get the M1. Okay, so beforehand, we saw a 6-stage 2 fresh result for our Wesker, I do believe. So the win con for the killer here. Oh, okay, man. Let me fucking talk about the win con. So the win con for the killer here is 6 stage with 3 freshes or anything above. Oh. What? What the hell, Sinter? Okay, man. Like, I'm stumbling over my words. Everything's going too quickly. You talk right now.
I mean, what I think was crazy is Fast Track was even expecting the head-on, but 6-4 just stayed in that locker. He was like, nah, I'm just gonna wait a little bit here. You're gonna walk into me. But now Fast Track on this pallet. I mean, this is a pretty unsafe pallet against Wesker, with Fast Track just playing it like a boss, walking through it, grabbing him out of the finesse, and getting this really nicely placed pain res. This is, of course, always such an amazing pain res to have on top mid. This is usually the main location you want to be hooking survivors. We are just briefly going to be checking the rest of the map, but there's actually a lot of scratch marks here next to a gen that's completely zero, so that, yeah, that is definitely a survivor who is going maybe for a reset around Shaq. I'm expecting Shaq to have some extra progress, and we actually have a pretty non-standard gen split here. We have most of the gens towards the bottom side of the map with a pretty disgusting free gen on Shaq, and one more gen in the middle. But right now, we're not seeing a whole lot of action. We're seeing them actually going for an unhook early. I feel like this is we've got to be careful of, because as we talked about, we only need 6 stages with 3 different fresh hooks, and Fast Track is definitely playing for that as well. Using the Pop Goes to Weasel instead of Eruption, we might even just expect to go for some fresh survivors, but for now, we are just going to be going onto the tunnel out 6. We're going down quite early. Even though there's a Zarya that very dealt to help him, he does not get to, and now we're just getting another hook, and we're going a little bit deeper into the map all the way to 1, which is going to be a bit harder to unhook that quickly like the last time.
Definitely, as you said before, the early unhook might not be the play. You know, as we can tell by the early unhook, I think the survivors are a bit keen to up their gem pressure, needing that extra survivor just to get some more pressure on the board. Obviously, we are very aware that apart from those 2 gens popping, there's probably not another gem with too high a progress unless they've magicked in another survivor in the trial, maybe a new perk's being used. You know, you can clone yourself. I don't know, man. But realistically, this is looking like a very good situation for Fast Track here, with a commanding hook around the three. I think it's a 3 gen. I haven't seen what RNG we have on the right, but I believe there is, yeah, a gen on 3. Obviously, opting to play the 3 gen around main. Do you think that getting the hook towards bottom would be a better idea for Fast Tracker, or do you think he had to take what he could get and play around for the looser 3 gen around main center?
I actually think we're not really playing for a free gen at all. I mean, this generator on free, even though it is still in the top side of the map, it's not really holdable as a free gen. And I think Fast Track doesn't really care because it's not that important. And oh, this unhook is so dangerous. We're gonna be throwing with Beetle. That's a 2-tap. You do not get this unhook. Oh, it's even too late, so it wouldn't have mattered. Oh my god, and no balance landing, and we're just gonna be dying for free. That's another hook stage. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We are quickly nearing those 7 stages we need. That is very dangerous, but as I was talking about, you don't really need to play for a free gen when you're only playing for 7 stages, especially with Noad. Simply going down into this 3v1 gives you enough pressure to be able to just go around the map and collect enough stages by the time the survivor have popped all gens. Yeah, especially when we're unhooking this quite quickly. But here main has some progress. Maybe this survivor was actually working main a little bit earlier. Yeah, we're doing the best gameplay here of doing some 360s on the pallet and instantly going down after it. That's quite unlucky for a Dwight player. Obviously not much to do against. This is just quite an unsafe pallet. Or maybe a little bit scared of the head-on, but I believe... No, 6-4 was head-on, so that wouldn't make any sense. I'm saying...
He's getting to us both, brother. I think, you know, long dev casting, around 3 hours of gameplay ahead, and still a bit more, so it's fair enough to us. However, yeah, that early down and the early unhooks as well, I'm not too big a fan of from our survivor side here, especially if you're playing for low hook stages. You really want to be milking that 70 seconds and getting as much gem pressure as we can, but we're not really seeing much on the board here unless 4 is being actively worked. I believe it probably should be, but realistically, I think the Ada's going to need to be playing for the pull here, and if they're not, I'm not too sure what they're going to be doing. I think it was coming in anytime now. Yeah, round about that time. So obviously, another pain res is going to be used, just resetting all their gen pressure back to that 0. And I think Fast Track here is looking in a very commanding role in the trial. What are you thinking, Cinta?
Yeah, this is a very tough position to be in for the survivors, especially since both of the survivors were kind of stuck behind the main. Like, we knew exactly where they were, and they had to try to get away from that. At least they did split up well, but now Lucas is put in a bit of a dangerous... Yeah, I mean, just gonna be dying here on free. There's very little they can do. Like, maybe the only play they had was he somehow stays around the main. He maybe abuses that a little bit longer. But sadly, the RNG on this side of the map is also not that great, so we will just go down to a 2v1 quite early. We hear a little bit of Vinny in the background, so we do know they are right up here. This might be balanced landing though, so hopefully we're not going to be going down immediately. We do make at least this God Rock on 9, which is just a little bit earlier, not getting dropped yet. Just going to be trying our absolute best in one of these chases now.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like this match is close to closing out. Obviously, chasing the injured survivor around your gen setup and your gen spread is obviously very good for Fast Track here. Although, as commented on earlier, not really the best 3-gen you could be looking for. Oh, okay, that's a rock. Yeah. Unfortunate that it happens to the best of us, all trying to squeeze out that last pixel hit. Oh my god. That would feel absolutely horrific to get hit by, and I'm very sure that Vinny is probably cursing and wishing that didn't hit, wishing for that better net, for that exit lag as well. We do, however, see our Ada Wong stealthing towards 2 here, and I do believe this is going to be the last chase of the game unless Vinny has some insane perk or some insane thing, really. That just changes the tiding of the game forever. I have no complaints with what I'm seeing here. What do you think is the overall message behind it? Oh my god, bro. this guy, he's insanely good with Wesker power as well. Something we haven't commented on. Fast Track clearly knows what he's doing with the killer. Very clinical and very efficient. Sinta, what are your thoughts on the gameplay we've just seen, man?
Yeah, I mean, exactly what you're saying. It is always nice to see Noah in the back pocket. We're saving that for the next game. But yeah, Fast Track just playing it well, showing both the great mechanics, getting some disgusting hits, like the second hit with finesse, just overall great tags coming out. He was also able to find, I feel like he was able to find the survivors just in time. Like there were not really any free unhooks or like that many great situations for the survivors. I feel like the only times where survivors were able to get a lot of pressure was when Fast Track was just camping somewhere on the opposite side of the map, and they were just able to crank a couple of those bottom generators. Besides that, Fast Track really took control of the rest of the trial. Not much the survivors could have done better, sadly.
Exactly. Played very well by the killer here. Unlucky. Yo, what is up, everyone? We're in the second set of the day for the second match of the day. 2-2s here now, bro. So we got Behelit on the killer here. We're seeing a different killer player, notably Nathan on the Freddy Dead Dog Saloon. I'm here with Sinta. Sinta, tell me your thoughts and opinions on this matchup, my boy.
I mean, I'm honestly really excited. I feel like Freddy is still a killer that we haven't seen too much of, so I feel like the strategies are still changing. We're still seeing different game plans and different maps being played on him each time. I mean, especially already here, we're already seeing Nathan knows what he's doing. We're seeing some use of the party pallets, and we're making Survivor path a little bit unoptimally, which is taking a lead in a very, very fast early chase. And we are just going to choose to get that hook on a Painteress right in the middle of the map. We maybe could have made basement, but I'm not sure if that's really what he's looking for. We do also have a pretty nasty free gen around Gallows if we do decide to play for that in the end. But we'll only have to see what we're going to be doing right now. We do still have Ruin, so any survivor leaving their gens right now is just good for us, really. And I mean, we're seeing 3 different survivors mid-map, so this is a pretty good start, I think.
Definitely, and we see the survivors here playing very altruistically. Obviously, the ace being cut off from anything else and having to kind of take that hit. Nathan is looking very in control here, just zoning the Dwight exactly where he wants him to go, taking the pallets in his wake as well. We have seen, I think this is the only gen with much progress here. Very nice stun, actually. That does mean he makes 3, I believe, if he were to play it. No, he's going to main, which I feel like is going to be his demise unless there's a head-on. No, unluckily no head on there for the Dwight, no respite for the Wicked, and he does go down, which is going to be our second hook state of the game. Realistically, man, the gen pressure is not looking optimal for our survivors here. We've seen 2 fairly quick downs, and the second hook stage is coming up to our Dwight here. I think he's just checking 4, and he's going to see if he can find anyone, and if he does, chase that person. Sinta, tell me your thoughts, man.
Wait, this generator is regressing. Was that Painteress? Did Painteress not get used on the first hook? I wasn't paying attention. I'm not really sure how that... Oh wait, it's Ruin. Never mind, I'm stupid. So we still have Ruin up, of course. Yeah, that's amazing. We have still all of our perks up. I mean, this is such a scary position. We have 2 different survivors injured. And on such a small map. I mean, we already have some of the resources are also used as well. TPing onto our only healthy survivor. I do believe that is balanced landing, so we're going to be making the main building completely for free. But still, no generators have popped! No! Oh my god, I mean, we have to play the window 50s, but this M2 might actually lead just... Yeah, it's just gonna lead into the hit anyways, even if they would have vaulted it. I think Ada might have had the time to move into for the unhook, but no! Oh my god, I thought for 1 second the M2 was gonna be enough to... No! No! That's the last injury onto Ada as well. Yes, sadly, that's not 10 seconds yet. There's so much happening right now. And this is just what's so fun about a killer like Freddy. Its power offers so many different usages. Like, we can do so many different things, and that's what we're seeing right now. Nathan being active in every way possible, getting injuries onto Ada, stopping the unhook, like teleporting. It's just all so great, and we're winning 50s. No, never mind. We're not getting the down yet. Oh my god, wait. This is exactly what we needed. We needed some time for our survivors to reset right now, because if we go into the 3v1 completely injured, I mean, then we're just cooked. But Lucas, he's putting the team on his shoulders, buying quite a bit of time here on the water tower. And hopefully, okay, we do see a generator popping, but still seeing 3 injured survivors, which I am a little bit scared of, Will.
Definitely, man. I feel. Oh, okay. We are seeing a lot more gem pressure than I thought we would have done. But I mean, I guess that does come with not resetting it. Obviously, survivors wanting to crank out the gens, hopefully finding that reset spot that Nathan is unable to find. Honestly, man, I do quite like the new Freddy. I didn't think I'd be ever in a point in the game of saying this where I'd be like, well, you know, Freddy's not that boring anymore, man. But being able to use both palettes and oh, Jesus, incredible game sense there, finding the blood. I don't know if that was game sense or if you saw something I didn't do, but incredible find there on the Ada, just getting that quick and clinical down. But yeah, with the pallets and the snares being able to be used properly, both in unison, I feel like this is a very strong killer in chase, and I feel like the survivors, or Dwight in particular, was just not ready for that quick down early game, and it kind of threw off the team as a result of that. Do you think that's a valid valid point to make, or do you think I'm chatting complete shit?
No, I think that's definitely valid. I mean, all you can do at that point is really try to adapt to the situation as best as you can, and I think the survivors have actually done a pretty good job so far.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, we're just gonna have to see, because right now we have 3 pain reses still available, but the survivors have at least been able to get rid of any dangerous free gens. I mentioned briefly the free gens on the gallows. It's really prevalent. Like, it's always such a scary free gen to have a gen on 12, a gen right next to it, and the gallows gen. Like, it's completely unbreakable, especially if you have perks like Ruin or Eruption. But luckily we have broken that. We have about the best gen split possible for the survivor side right now. And Vinny doing a pretty good job in the chase, but sadly will be going down, losing this 50 just a little bit. No reset onto 80 yet, and both of the survivors will be falling asleep right now, so this is a bit of a dangerous position to be in, especially since we know where both of them are, and they're both right next to each other. Ada is going to be able to make just a little bit more distance away, but I'm not sure if this is enough distance, because I think they're going to be going down before this fault. They do, and Freddy should be able to get into the pickup just in time, but not really sure. We should be seeing the pickup, I think, because he's asleep. No, never mind. Wait, we don't see the pickup. Okay, I'm confused how Freddy works sometimes.
Yeah, same, man. I do not read the patch notes enough for this, man. Jesus Christ, this is an incredibly like power move by Nathan here, though. Just find it. Oh, okay, I spoke too soon. Getting the pallet to the dome there, very unfortunate. Ace making that bit more distance, however, still in a very commanding spot here. He's forced to play his 50-50s on the toilet pallet, and I'm not sure this is going to warrant anything. Is he still not asleep? I have no clue, man. But this is a very, very commanding position for Nathan to be in. I think Behelit are going to be very happy with this result, as it's shaping up to look like a 4K2, man. Do correct me if I'm wrong, but that's a very good result for a killer such as Freddy, no?
Yeah, I mean, this is a really good result. I mean, I don't know. It's maps like DDS can be a little bit scary because it's such a small map, and even though you do have a lot of resources, a lot of them can be unsafe. So, as we saw with the first chase and the second chase, these chases can just end really quickly out of nowhere, like even without really any misplays from the survivors. So results like this really aren't impossible. I mean, we've seen it before. We saw a lot better teams getting a lot worse results than this, so it's definitely not impossible to come back from this. But I mean, if you're Reliance's killer player, this is still gonna give you a lot of nerves. It's still really scary to realize that the only way you win is if only 2 generators pop. That's just cooked. I can't lie.
Definitely, you're going to need a very dominating performance from the killer on Reliance's side. That's going to be a very hard win con to kind of swallow if you're that killer as well. You're going to be like, well, I wish that we popped more gens. I wish we got some outs here, but that is just very unfortunate. We're now just playing a game of hide and seek, and I do believe we hear, yeah, the Ada on where the hatch would be a bit too far towards the Gallows side, however. But that, I think, just confirms the nature of the 4K2 here. Sinter, do you think it's doable? I know you said you thought it was doable, but do you think it's gonna happen?
I mean, I want to keep my hopes up, of course. We're always rooting for the underdogs. It's always fun to see a comeback story. I don't know. Like I have hopes, and I hope they're gonna be bringing a build that's tailored to this as well. Like I don't want to see any cringe like a bamboozle or any corrupt. We can't can't afford to run stuff like that right now. We have to go all out, bring just an aggressive build, hopefully. But we'll just have to see what Reliance do decide to cook up for this next matchup. For you go. Welcome back, everyone. We are here with the second match of the second set. We have this time Reliance on the killer. We're seeing a relatively similar perk build. We're seeing Corrupt instead of Eruption, however, which I mentioned it at the end of the trial. I'm not really happy to see the Corrupt. I'm not gonna lie. Well, I was hoping for some more aggressive perks, but it's fine. It's fine. The early pressure can also definitely be a little bit scary, especially when these generators like main could be open. Like the Stars can get on that immediately and just be completely safe while working it. So instead, we are just opting to play a little bit safer. We're taking our first chase at main, which is maybe not most the most like of a threat for survivors, because it's usually pretty safe to loop, at least until all of these doors are broken down and until maybe this main pallet is gone. We did see someone briefly on the main or the middle generator as well, but we are still just choosing to commit this, barely not landing that first hit. That's very unfortunate.
You're definitely, as you said before, I'm kind of with you, man. For a win con, 4k3 for the killer, Corrupt Intervention is not what I wanted to be seeing. However, I'm not too sure what other perks he could bring that would help too much for a win con such as that. So maybe we just gotta put our trust in Vinny and just let him cook, okay? But taking chase everywhere he doesn't want to be taking chase, man. Main and then to the safe filler. The safe filler? Why am I saying Water Tower is safe? Anyway, to a safer filler with the distance that Nathan has, indeed. Yeah, they're playing a textbook, just dropping what they need to drop, playing it very safe, not really wanting to give tags. And we do see what waking up here, which is something that the survivors from the previous game seemed a lot more reluctant to do. Do you think that waking up is best against Freddy, or do you think it's a waste of time and they should just sit on gens? What do you think, Sinter?
That's a little bit difficult, because I feel like it's very map dependent. Like right now we're on Saloon. Once a lot of pallets have been dropped, it actually becomes quite difficult to just maneuver around the map during chase, like without having to run into one of these pallets that the Freddy can blow up in your face. So at that point, I definitely think it's really important to at least wake up and catching up another survivor off guard here. I believe they were stacking this generator as well as stacking the middle generator, so they're kind of doing 2-2 splits right off the start. See, what great job. We're just barely not getting the slow there, which does allow Nathan to reach both these pallets and the shack pallet, to dropping it, because we of course want to extend this first chase as long as humanly possible.
Yeah, this is very textbook play by Survivor, and I think making the shack window again. However, unless he makes the gallows filler, I'm not sure he's going to extend chase too much here. Manages to win a 50, and we do see the Zarina coming in to take a hit, I believe, here. Maybe just telling Nathan, oh my god, Nathan has another filler. This RNG is absolutely nuts. Around shack, obviously, you can get some really nice RNG, or you can get absolutely nothing towards 11 and 10. But we are seeing some very favorable to Behelit here, and just Vinny wanting to zone them into the pallets that have already been thrown and looking to cut down the chase time here, because 2 gens have been popped before the killer gets his first down. What are you thinking about that?
Yeah, this is a bit of a scary position to be in, especially considering I think our free gens are already kind of gone. Like we don't have anything around Gallows, we don't have anything around the main, and it's very rare that you're going to be holding any free gens around the water tower, or 8 or 6 or 5 towards the bottom. But I think Survivor's done a great job, but they located the gens they needed to do, and they did those right off the bat. We're also seeing 1 injury onto fast track, but none of the survivors are asleep right now, so it's okay. I mean, no injuries actually. Survivors just playing very slow. I don't think we have that much gen pressure right now, but that's not really required, as we only have to crank out 2 more generators for the win. So we're just playing it slow. And I would hope we're gonna swap who's body blocking here. We do hit that fast vault, very important. Otherwise, the killer would have been able to just grab us out of the vault. But Nathan is also the balanced landing survivor, so they're going to be making it across the map, going to shack, which has already been dropped, so not the safest. But yeah, we did not drop this pallet earlier, so that's going to be allowing us a little bit more safety, but we're swinging right through it and getting a hit. That's a pretty important down, I'm not going to lie.
Definitely, that second stage is going to put a lot of pressure onto the survivors here. However, we do hear, in retaliation to the second down of the match coming in onto Nathan, that we do indeed have a lot of gen pressure around the water tower, and so that hook there is going to be definitely very monumental in the terms of swaying the side of the match and hoping that the Freddy can gain some more traction versus the survivors here.
Ooh, I'm just gonna assume that that was a nice little predict, expecting block to vault into him, and this is kind of giving way more pressure to the killer than expected, and completely out of nowhere. Seeing 2 injured survivors, we're hearing where that 3rd survivor is, so we actually should be aware exactly where everyone is right now, and that is our Ruin gone, sadly, which is gonna take away a little bit of our abilities, but that does... Oh no, we don't have Eruption, that was the previous trial. We do slightly, sadly, lose this 50, and they might be committing onto this chase just a little bit too long. As yeah, Walk is doing such an amazing job on this main window. Again, not pre-vaulting it. And we're actually just going to be breaking the door right now. Just a bit of a time waste. And we do, of course, have to go back to this generator on Water Tower because it was so close to popping before already.
Yeah, that progress is definitely scary here. Vinny very much aware of the dangers of leaving that unsupervised. That is a horrible hit. Oh my god. Fast Track is definitely screaming at the server devs here, praying for a middle ground. But that was horrendous to see. Do we see him make... That's an unfortunate snare there, getting caught up and not making the rushed vault a medium. However, the chase position here I'm not too fond of from Fast Track. I do wonder whether someone's been on the gen at Water Tower or whether it's just going to be able to just sit at 90% for this amount of time without having anyone wonder if they can pop it. So I'm kind of wondering what the Survivor team are doing here. Maybe they're biding their time and they're resetting, or maybe they're putting pressure on other gens. What do you think, Sinter?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I mean, we're choosing to get this hook on the central position of the map. We do see... I mean, we know about the progress on main. They've been working that for quite some time, but it's not really close to popping yet because the survivors are rightfully choosing to first get this reset. We see someone on free, that was, I believe, the Sable, and I think we saw someone somewhat close to 12 earlier on. Not really sure, but we were just kind of camping around this main gen. I'm surprised the Water Tower isn't popping. They're not putting that much pressure onto main. That generator on 12 is still regressing. So I feel like Vinny is kind of chilling right now, even though there's still a lot of pressure. Like, we still have to stop most of these generators from popping right now. It's not looking too horrible for him, especially if he's able to find his tunnel out soon again and go into that very necessary 3v1. And right now we're getting a lot of info, actually, knowing that they're resetting behind the main, which allows us to commit to this chase just a little bit longer. Sadly, we do have a filler here, which is quite decently placed. We do have to make sure they don't get this unhook for free, though, before the second stage comes in. And yeah, Vinny realizing that, going back here. But, of course, one of those survivors who's resetting has now gone up onto main to work that generator. And now 2 gens across the map from each other are getting pressured. They're both so close to popping, so Vinny is not really able to stop both of them. Fast Track did hit second stage just before he got unhooked, though. That's might be quite important to note for later on.
Definitely, that slipped under my nose. I had absolutely zero clue. We are seeing an FTP. I'm wondering why we're seeing that on this unhook and not on the initial tunnel out, but realistically it's not a bad play to have, as the survivors only need to pop one of the 2 high progress gens to make it to reach the Tycon, and if they can pop the both of them, then that means they win the game. I think survivors are going to be very hyper aware of this and almost not wanting to give the killer more traction that they need to even. And we just see that Vinny is playing for time, which he doesn't really have, and zoning instead of playing for 50s, and that's very unlucky. That's a gen I hadn't even noted that had progress, to be honest with you, Sinter. And we're seeing a body block attempt from Zarina here coming through onto Nathan, and I think are going to be seeing him reaching. Oh my god, that is exceedingly unlucky. Eating the pallet as well, and Nathan lives to see a longer chase. I believe this is going to be pre-dropped and wrapped around. Yeah, indeed it is. But that gen on 12, I had absolutely zero clue had any progress. I don't know if you did and I was just not paying attention, or I was paying attention to the wrong thing, Sinter. But yeah, that gen popping caught me completely off guard.
I think we did actually see the pain res we had on the mid-map here hit it, because it was regressing at some point. We saw it a little bit, but yeah, it doesn't really matter. Survivors are now just in their element. This chase is happening for way too long, and this is... The body block is just amazing. I feel like this is also showing a little bit that this is absolutely Behelit's pick for a killer set, because I believe Freddy, I mean, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe he is still able to kind of go past body blocks using his power by phasing through the survivors, or I believe I've seen that a lot in scrims and matches as well. But
Yeah, I do believe so. That is indeed a tech that you can do. I'm not sure whether Vinny is able to know how to utilize it, as we didn't see that. However, that would have really changed the pacing of the game there. Just being able to phase through this arena here and perhaps get the down on
wait,
Nathan
this
even
double back
quicker. Is
here,
this gonna
the shack
is
pal,
this
the
gonna be a
shack,
hatch?
no, no!
Oh,
Fast track making it out as well. That's all survivors escaping the trial. How unfortunate.
bro, that was not an easy game to watch, man. That was exceedingly well played by the survivors. A little bit of a slowdown in the mid game, which I'm not really sure what happened there. They had Jen's high progress, but they weren't really willing to work any of them. I mean, I guess getting the reset definitely helped. They were able to progress the gens furthest away from each other, get that gen on 12 done, pop main, and ultimately take the win for a 2-0 sweep in the favor of Behelit.